Hello everyone, just Lee again here from Real Spirit Dynamics, and in this video I want to talk about the music scene that's changing very rapidly at the moment and the drugs that are causing that change.
The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
One thing I want to say about this is that the drugs themselves are causing more of the enlightenment, which is allowing these amazing new artists. There's a lot of new artists coming out now, the likes of Billie Eilish, The Weeknd. These people are using the enlightenment to teach on their music videos, okay? And music videos and the music in general lately is going more along the lines of a drug dynamic than an alcohol dynamic, because alcohol is kind of an old paradigm now. And a lot of the awakening and a lot of these music videos are about drugs. Take The Weeknd, for example. His music videos now are unbelievable, okay? This guy, he's using the drugs as a tool for his enlightenment, and not only that, he's making music videos and songs to teach this in a very, very clever way. And not only that, he's doing it in a very cool way as well, and the music's amazing. So if anybody hasn't watched The Weeknd's new music, just check it out. He's made a new song called Heartless. There's another song called Blinding Lights, and his new album's coming out at the end of this month, and it's going to be called After Hours. And this album is basically going to carry on. All the music videos are going to carry on, and it's going to be like a movie. Okay, and in this movie, it's going to show all the ups and downs of life and how the drugs help you find the awakening. And on the music video Heartless, he actually takes 5-MeO DMT at the end of the movie in Vegas, and it shows him his own ego. And when it shows him his ego, he literally runs away from it. Okay, he tries to run away from it, but it catches him up in the end, which is another teaching. These teachings are very, very clever. So it's teaching people how to find the enlightenment, get over their ego, and become one with themselves in a very loving way. And Billie Eilish is just a very young artist, and she's doing pretty much the same. Her lyrics are genius, okay? And a lot of these songs about relationships, they're not like they used to be. Like, they're literally more geared towards why relationships don't work, as opposed to trying to make them work like they were in the old paradigm. And there has been artists in the past who've done this, such as Madonna. Madonna did a lot of good videos about the awakening of relationships and what reality is and loving yourself. I'm a very big fan of Madonna's old music. But artists such as Billie Eilish at the moment, she's taking this kind of to the next level and trying to teach the younger generation the dynamics of love, and maybe it's not so much how hurt you are when a relationship ends or how to find love, but it's more along the dynamic of kind of why we enter in these relationships to find love in the first place, and how we can maybe look inside ourselves for the love instead of going to search for these external relationships and external things to find our happiness. And this is revolutionary in teaching the younger generation how to live life. And I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit about the drug scene at the moment, because if you're still one of these people who consumes alcohol regularly, you're still kind of stuck in an old paradigm, okay? Because a lot of the music now, especially the good music, the very talented stuff, is all about the drugs, okay? It's not about alcohol. Alcohol's like an old paradigm. And the reason is because the drugs show you more than alcohol. Alcohol kind of numbs you. I know when I take alcohol, it kind of takes us about 4 days now just to get my vibrational energy back up to what it was before I consumed it. And with a lot of these drugs, especially the good drugs like the plant medicines, I don't so much like to call them drugs, they're more a medicine or an enlightenment tool. But things such as cannabis. Cannabis, for instance, is amazing for showing you your faults and allowing you to appreciate life in ways that you never appreciated before, especially music. Music, food, it increases your senses instead of numbing them like alcohol does. So yeah, with cannabis, a lot of these music videos that are made now with these very clever artists, they're designed for being high, okay? The music's designed for being high. It's not designed for being on alcohol anymore. And the reason for this is because they've realized that being high actually creates more love in the world. It creates a better dynamic. It creates a better kind of route for enlightenment for people. And it's more about the love now than it is the ego, okay? And what these music videos are teaching is to kind of how to remove your ego and find your true self within. And drugs are a big part of that. And another thing that's clever about these videos is that the directors of these music videos are so clever now, and it's the drugs that are making them clever, by the way, because a lot of music videos and a lot of music that people listen to on alcohol are actually written by people on drugs, okay? Cannabis is one of the big drugs for this. A lot of songwriters are high when they make the songs. And there's an interesting paradox here where a lot of these people who still take alcohol will say to themselves, well, I'll never do drugs. But then they're going out on a weekend and they're actually dancing to music that was written by people on drugs. So it's kind of crazy how that dynamic works. But yeah, a lot of these artists now, they're making these music videos with the intention of people watching the videos while being high. And the way they're doing this is they're actually putting hidden messages in the music videos. And these hidden messages are designed to kind of program your mind with lessons to help the enlightenment without you even realizing it sometimes, okay? You'll notice this if you watch certain music videos like The Weeknd, his music videos, that they'll have a little twist in them at a certain point, and whenever the lyrics say something that the world needs to know, the music will change instantly, okay? There'll be a little change, the video will flip, there'll be a few little sound effects, and what this is doing is it's kind of subtly programming people's minds with these spiritual lessons, okay? Not many people realize this, but when I take cannabis, which is about once or twice a week, I'll watch these music videos and I'll see what they're doing, and it's very, very clever, okay? So clever, in fact, that a lot of people don't even realize it's happening. And I don't think this is me being delusional here, because I see it in quite a few music videos now, and the music videos themselves are about the awakening, okay? And but yeah, drugs are the new paradigm for music, okay? It's all about the drugs now. Alcohol's an old paradigm, and when you think about it, drugs have always done this. Think about the 60s and the 70s with the Summer of Love, and all these hippies who were getting high on the LSD and the magic mushrooms and the cannabis. What this did was, at the time, when you really think about this, the world was going through a very dark and depressive time, okay? We just had the Cold War. Not many people were happy. There was a big awakening that was needed in the world, and this drug wave came in, and it literally brought love back into the world. You'll notice this, because if this didn't happen, if the Summer of Love and all these crazy times with the hippies didn't happen, the world would be a very, very different place now. There would probably be less love. It would have probably turned out totally different to what it is now. So we have to appreciate the natural plant medicines, especially for doing this, okay? And the natural plant medicines are the best drugs, because there is other drugs that are pretty good, like LSD is pretty good, but it's a man-made form of magic mushrooms, basically, and it does teach you a very lot of lessons. But the real teachers are the plant medicines, okay? This is what I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend anybody taking man-made drugs, especially things like cocaine, because they can be addictive. They can be really addictive, and it's not necessarily the best route to go down. But if you are someone who still takes alcohol, just think about this, okay? Don't think drugs are bad just because the society tells you they are, because the government don't want people waking up. Of course they're going to say cannabis is bad, because they don't want people waking up. luckily it's becoming legalised in a lot of countries now. In the UK, the government are way behind. They don't have a clue about cannabis because most of them have never tried it, so they don't understand it. And the worst thing about cannabis is those who have never tried it. Okay, this is a fact. But yeah, with these drugs, they do raise your vibration a lot, and alcohol lowers your vibration. Okay, so on cannabis, your vibration will heighten to a point where it takes 4 or 5 days to bring it back down again. Whereas when you take alcohol, it'll lower and it takes 4 or 5 days to get it back up. And when it lowers your vibration, yeah, you do have a little bit more confidence, and you are more confident, and but it does numb you. Okay, alcohol numbs you, and the only reason you're more confident is because it kind of numbs you to your fears. Okay, whereas cannabis kind of like enhances all your senses, and it shows you your own faults. It helps you fix your faults. And this is why these plant medicines are essential for the awakening. And a lot of these music videos and these artists and these directors know this because they've took drugs, they've tried everything, most of them, and they realise the benefits of them. And they realise that a lot of these plant medicines are going to be directly responsible for the spiritual awakening when it happens. They're probably going to save humanity, to be honest. This is what I really think. I really think these substances can save humanity. So the reason I know this is because I myself used to be on these old paradigms. I used to go out drinking every week. I would take alcohol because it increased my confidence. And then there was one time, I think it was my ex-girlfriend introduced cannabis to us, and she gave us a couple of drawers. I literally had 2 drawers of her blunt, and literally I was excelled into this state of relief, okay? And the relief wasn't necessarily the cannabis, but it was my brain kind of telling myself that I needed that, okay? Because I was in a very dark place. I'd been depressed for years and years. I've been through years of depression and anxiety, and I've had a lot of bad experiences in life. But what the weed did for us is it literally increased my vibrational energy within 1 hour, and I'd laughed like I've never laughed before, okay? And I'd felt like I've never felt before. And my body was like, what a relief. It was like, Lee, you needed this. It was literally like, we've waited for this. We've been waiting for you to take this substance, because in our brains, we've already got receptors ready for the cannabis, okay? So it's a natural plant and we are meant to take it. It's like kind of, I class it as kind of oil for the system. It kind of oils your system. And without it, your system's kind of, it doesn't really work as good, okay? Everything works more smoothly when you take cannabis regularly. Now, when I say regularly, I don't mean do it every day, because that's bad. A lot of people abuse cannabis. Like, I see this a lot, especially here in the UK or in America. A lot of people are taking this daily. They'll wake up, they'll have a joint, they'll have another joint on the afternoon, another one on the night. And this is not necessarily the best way to do it. I would not recommend this. I would recommend doing it once or twice a week, okay? And when you do it, look forward to it. So when you do it this way, you kind of see more, you appreciate it more, and your tolerance levels don't go up. So if you are on a stage where you are still on this old paradigm of consuming alcohol, and you're the kind of person that would say, well, I don't do drugs, what I would say is just kind of open your mind a little bit, okay? Like, literally just try it. You don't have to try a big amount, just try a very small amount. You can vape it now if you don't want to smoke it. There's cannabis vaporizers now where they just literally vape the dry herb. You can eat it. I wouldn't recommend eating it for your first time though, because the effects can be quite different. It's not so much an enlightening effect when you eat it. It's more of a relaxing, kind of sleepy kind of effect. But if you get a good sativa, and you take that like a small dose, even just if it's just 1 draw of the vaporizer, that's all you need. You'll just try it, okay? See how you feel, okay? Notice the subtle differences between that and alcohol. Well, I say subtle, they're not subtle at all because they're vast, okay? Notice the vast differences, because you'll notice that the cannabis actually puts you at a higher vibrational frequency, and it allows you to see all your own faults. So you can literally fix your own faults on it. And you'll notice that eventually when you get used to doing this, you'll not want to go back to alcohol again, because you'll realize how destructive that drug is. Alcohol is a man-made substance full of chemicals. Cannabis is a natural plant which our brains are already ready to consume, and there's very little side effects, okay? A lot of people say you'll get like paranoia on cannabis, but that's not true. That's because you're a paranoid person anyway, and the cannabis is showing you that, okay? It's showing you the paranoia so you can get over it, so you can fix it. It's showing you all your little faults so you can fix them. But it depends what you focus on as well, because your RAS, your reticular activation system, will focus on whatever you choose to focus on. So if you do like the cannabis once a week, decide to use it for good things, focus on music, maybe focus on tasting your food, because it enhances all this, and it'll actually make the music seem like you're in another dimension, okay? I know there's 4K music videos out there, but this will literally put the music like 25K. You'll see things in music you've never seen before. You'll literally hear sounds in the music you've never heard before. So it's amazing for that. And the more you consume this, the more you can kind of fix yourself and become in a higher vibrational energy, and it literally just changes your life. Like, so if you are still stuck on that old paradigm, I would recommend just opening your mind a bit and trying these things, okay? Don't believe what the government tell you, because they don't want the awakening. They just still want to control people. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just a lot of these people in government don't understand the drugs because they've never tried them. But like I said before, the music scene does understand it, and it knows that many people watching these music videos or listening to the music are already high on some substance or other, and that's why they incorporate in the music to kind of resonate with that and teach these lessons that the world needs to awaken. So going back to these artists that are creating this music now. So Billie Eilish, she's a very young girl, and I don't know how she's got the ability to write the way she does, okay? Because the lessons she's teaching in these music videos usually require years and years of experience with relationships, usually 20 to 30 years worth of experiences before you know this knowledge. But a lot of these young artists now are starting to realize this knowledge without even going through the experience a lot of the time. And I think this is partly due to the vibrational frequency that a lot of the drugs and the spiritual kind of paradigms of bringing into the new creation. So people, like children, are born now with more of an ability than they've ever been born before. And I think they're picking up on the vibrational frequencies, and they can actually be born with knowledge before they've even experienced it. And this is a new set of spirits that are coming into the physical world at the moment to change the old paradigm. And this is the start of it, what we see now with these music videos. And the start of that is to kind of go away from the old paradigm of alcohol to drugs, okay? And when I say drugs, I don't mean the bad stuff. I mean like the good drugs, like the plant medicines. And any drugs that are going to create the awakening are classed as good. And people like The Weeknd, his music is getting to a point where it's going on a paradigm that's never been reached before. And the reason it's so clever is because the people that are making these videos understand the dynamic of being high, okay? Being on a higher vibrational energy actually it puts you on a level where you can pick up on the higher vibrational knowledge that's out there in the universe already. We just haven't discovered it yet, okay? And that's what being high is. Anybody here who's watching this, who's took these drugs or took cannabis and they've gone out and looked at the world, okay, you see things that other people don't see, because you're seeing things from a higher paradigm, okay? You're seeing things like the other week I went out high, and it was a windy night, and I took some cannabis called Gorilla Glue number 4. I don't know if anyone's tried that, but this is an amazing cannabis. It's a sativa, and it really heightens your vibration. And I actually stopped next to some woodland area near where I live, and I I had a sudden wave of emotions come, okay? And every time a wave of emotions would come up, the trees would literally start blowing harder in the wind, okay? And I was watching this for about 30 minutes, and I was stopping the wind, and every time I wanted to start the wind again, I could literally control the wind. I was literally controlling the environment, the physical environment on the planet as I was there. Now, what I don't know is, was this my reality only and nobody else's? But if somebody else was with us at the time, would they have seen the same thing? This is the thing, because we all have our own aspects of reality. So I think this is what Jesus meant by the kingdom of heaven is within, because everything we experience is within our own minds, and the other people might be on another kind of dimension. There could be like multiple dimensions. The multiple universe theory is one of those things that could cause this. So even though I was seeing that the trees were moving with my emotions and I was controlling the wind, what this means is that somebody else who did this might not see that. They might see something totally different. But this is what the drugs do, and I think the more people that realise this and realise they can get on these higher vibrational energies and start controlling their reality, the more that's going to project into the morphic field resonance of the world and the planet and the universe, the more people can pick up on that, you see, because it's like a signal. Everything we discover is like a signal that emits from our consciousness for other people to pick up on. And I think that's what's happening. I think that's why all these music videos are changing, okay? Music's changing. Substances are changing. Alcohol's an old paradigm now. Smoking's an old paradigm now. I see a lot of people changing from smoking to the vaporizers, the vape and nicotine, okay? But even nicotine's got to be an old paradigm. Yes, it's a plant. Yes, it makes you feel relaxed, but it's very addictive and it's not necessarily the best substance, okay? I see a lot of people with these vapes that like vaping constantly, this nicotine, trying to get this rush for 3 or 4 minutes, when you could take a plant like cannabis, you could have 1 or 2 draws and it lasts for 3 hours, okay? And it's a lot cheaper. So a lot of these old substances going out, and there's some new substances coming in now, which are going to assist with the awakening. And the music directors and the musicians now all realize this, and that's why they're putting these hidden messages in the music, because they're trying to wake up society, okay? They're trying to get everybody to wake up and set a new set of paradigms ready for the new awakening, which is coming after this year, 2020, and then the world's going to change big time. So that's it for this video, guys. Please leave your comments about your experiences with cannabis as opposed to alcohol, and subscribe to the channel. Please like this video if you can, and thank you for listening to me today, and I'll see you on the next video.